Why there are severe security checks in airports, but not in trains, subways or cruises. Trains are on tracks. You're not going to hijack a train and take it anywhere other than where it can already go. Yeah, they go through tunnels and under buildings, but overall the potential damage that can be done is significantly less. Cruises actually do have airport-level security. Bags are X-rayed, you go through metal detectors, etc. You can't steer a train into a building. You can't hijack those and crash them into places they are not intended to go. Trains and subways follow specific tracks, which are significantly controlled off-site, and you can't drive a cruise ship without a ton of people in specific training. There are between 3-5 million people riding the NYC subway daily, most during peak morning and evening rush hours. It would not be possible to have them go through airport-style severe security checks. Trains generally only go where the railway companies allow them to go. If you try to hijack one to ram it into a station, you'll soon find that the only way for you to go is into the buffer at the end of a storage rail. For subways the same applies. Also, stations can be evacuated because, again, they know where the train goes. Cruises have a similar issue. They are slow, and they can only move where deep enough water is found, so you kind of see them coming and know where the danger is. So in both cases, the odds of a mass casualty event are low. Additionally, both are structurally much stronger, so much more force is needed to destroy them or hurt most of the passengers. Air travel has a long history of people bringing weapons to use on board to crash a plane for vengeance, hijack it for clout, or just murder a whole plane full of folks with a bomb. As early as the 1940s even. In the 1970s, there was up to a hijacking a week. It got really bad in the 1970s and 80s thanks to Palestinian terror groups hijacking planes and committing mass shootings at airport terminals. Security measures and better counterintelligence have blocked most plane violence since then, and then 9/11 put an end to hijacking, since now the assumption is that it's to crash the plane, not to land it to somewhere. None of this happened with trains, despite train travel being 100 years older than air travel. So the measures aren't so strict. Because nobody ever flew a train into the World Trade Center. These answers kind of suck. TSA screens for explosives too. They aren't only afraid of planes being hijacked. You can't take a train off its tracks to a location that would cause maximum damage, etc. The effectiveness of a means of propulsion is directly proportional to its potential as a weapon car. Can maybe run down a few dozen people train? Super deadly, but you can't steer it plane? It's basically an 800,000 lb missile rocket. Well, it's a rocket. As the transportation gets faster and easier to steer and larger, it gets more and more deadly. Now to be clear, the TSA is all security theater. It's one of the least effective security measures on the planet while simultaneously being incredibly invasive and a massive waste of time. It was formed in response to specifically the 9/11 attacks, and will probably get scaled down and eventually go back to the same type of security you see at like stadiums before big rivalry games. Your fun fact of the day is that over its lifespan the TSA has probably killed more people than it saved. This is because driving is more dangerous than flying, and studies have found that people avoiding the TSA are responsible for about 10 of fatal crashes, or about 3,000–4,000 deaths a year. It's been 21.5 years since the TSA was founded, so that's around 75,000 deaths. While including 9/11, there were roughly 8,000 deaths from airline hijackings in 1980–2001. Not knowing where a plane is going to hit creates untenable pandemonium. Trains, subways, and cruises, because pathing and speed, you can mitigate collateral damage and thus reduce pandemonium to a hostage situation. Planes on the other hand start as a hostage situation and, because targeting, can end up as a 20-year war in Afghanistan, etc. Would you rather be blown up in the air or on land? The short answer is just 9/11. You kinda can't reach that level of destruction with any of the other methods. And even if you could, it'd require a lot more preparation. Subways and trains can be attacked, but they can't be maneuvered like planes can. They are stuck on the track. Because if you violently take control of a train or bus, you cannot crash it into a building, causing many thousands of deaths and mass destruction, resulting in the devastation of several city blocks. Contrary to a few answers, the security checks started due to hijacking, where planes were forced to divert to another country. They just got a little worse after 9/11. Cruise ships in the USA have extensive security measures, like at the airport. Train stations are just too busy under present circumstances. Nobody cares about a bunch of commies riding public transportation. And nobody, and I mean nobody, cares about cruises. Same reason bin Laden didn't use a train to take out the Twin Towers. Although, they did use a small boat with a bomb prior to the 9/11 attacks.